All right, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining tonight. So tonight's going to be a lot of fun. So this is something that I've been actually looking forward to, but a little bit scared at the same time. So first, I have to say thanks to DJ Beacon, who's in the chat tonight, for sending the samples, and he and I kind of chatted a little bit, just to see, maybe what some of the things were that I would like. I mean, again, these are all listed. He's got names of everything that's on here for basically everything. And it's still basically blind to me. I have no idea what any of this stuff is, even with labels. So it's going to be very interesting, I think. I mean, again, kind of titled, is there a Scotch for a bourbon lover? Well, I know, I'm sure there is. I've not had the greatest experiences with a lot of the Scotches. Now, with that being said, I have had some American single malts, specifically one from Cedar Ridge called the Quintessential, which I thought was fantastic. And I'll have a review of that coming very soon. But that was interesting in of itself, because again, it's the malted barley. So I'm getting a little bit more used to some of these things. So it'll be very interesting as I go through these tonight. DJ sent me kind of a list of maybe what to at least start out with. And then I think I'll just throw it in the chat and kind of see what everybody maybe suggests or recommends me trying after I, do it. And I'll tell everybody what they all are. So first, let me go back through the chat. We had some of the typical pre-gamers and stuff in here. Matt from Whiskey Crusaders, DJ Beacon, obviously, Greer Crabtree, thanks for jumping in. I appreciate. I know he is saying he wanted to learn, I think, a little bit more about some Scotch, I think, as well. So Mike Meyer, how's it going, buddy? Tim Garrigus. Oh, maybe it was Tim that said he wanted to learn a little more about Scotch, as do I. I know a little bit roughly about like what most of it is, but as far as where all the stuff is and where it comes from and the profiles, I really don't know that much about most of that stuff. I think I said Mike Meyer was in there. Jason from the Mash and Drum. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Christopher David. Who else do we have in here right now? Will Henderson. Hendo, how's it going, buddy? You should, I think you'll find this maybe interesting, hopefully. So Trev, the Wrench, thanks for jumping in. Richie Z, how's it going, buddy? All right, hopefully I didn't miss anybody. If I did, I'll get you later. Scott Pigsley, thanks for jumping in. I appreciate it. So, all right. So I think what I'm going to do is, so again, this is blind for me. And I think maybe for anybody who is a bourbon lover, like I am, Rise, really anything other than Scotch for the most part, I've got some experience with, but this Scotch, I really, again, like I said, I don't know much about any of it. So DJ sent me again a list of at least one to kind of start out with. So the one I'm going to start with tonight is the Glenmorangie 10-year. So this says Glenmorangie, the original 10-year-old Highland single malt, 43% ABV or 86 proof. So for me, I guess in the bourbon world, 86 proof is relatively low. I don't think there's a lot of bourbons that are that. I think maybe the only one I can think of off the top of my head, other than some of the stuff from Beam, is what was I thinking of? Maybe the Heaven Hill or the Evan Williams Black Label. So I think that's either 86 or 87 proof, something like that. Yeah, Evan Williams single barrel is low too. So the Old Forester. Okay, yeah, I think their Old Forester, just their regular, which I have actually never had. So it may be one I need to pick up. So anyway, okay, so really my plan for tonight is to try to go through as many of these. I've got 8 of them. I'll try to go through some of these. I'm going to first start with the Glenmorangie 10-year, the Highland single malt. So we'll see. I'm going to kind of try to take a few notes on some things just to kind of see what some of the stuff is that I'm liking and why, and maybe somebody can maybe keep track of it in here too. So, but thanks again, everybody, for joining tonight. I greatly appreciate it. Always love to see everybody in here. It's been 2 or 3 weeks since I've been able to do a live. I've just had other things kind of going on that were coming up just didn't work out for me. So I'm glad to see everybody again. So WKRP Piper or whatever in Cincinnati. That's pretty cool. You gotta be an old guy to understand the old WKRP in Cincinnati. So anyway, all right. So let's Shelf Turd. So, okay. So here, before I get into this, if you guys haven't checked out their channel, these two, him and his wife, Dave and his wife, I think it's Kira, I think he said. So you'll have to go check out their channel. So go check out Shelf Turds after this or during it or whenever you want. Give them a follow. They're doing an awesome job. They're funny, knowledgeable, all of that. So I think you guys will really appreciate their whiskey channel. So. All right, so let's go ahead and kind of get into this. And again, you guys chime in. Let me know what your thoughts are on some of these things. So again, I'm starting out first with the Glenmorangie 10-year. This is the original Highland single malt. So who's had this? So of anybody who is into scotches and stuff in here, who's had this, and what are your thoughts on this? Boy, it's very citrusy and a little bit of pepper on this one. There's something that's there too. Maybe a lot of things. What I get with the specifically the scotches or single malt is this green, like a green apple type of note to it. So it's always something that's prevalent for me on this. But there's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of that, like kind of black pepper that's there as well. Maybe even with the black pepper, it's almost even a bit of like a green pepper type of. I don't want to say like it's pungent, but there's that like kind of a green pepper type of note along with that black pepper as well. Yeah, a nice nose, very subtle. I wouldn't say for me there's a lot going on with this. Yeah, I know, Matt. He's supposed to send me a bunch of these things too. I can only imagine what that's going to be. I'm gonna probably go into hiding when that or reject that package. I'm scared to even try any of that stuff. So, but all right, let me give this a try. But again, yeah, on the nose wise with this thing, I think it is. There's definitely some citrus, that there's that green apple, there's that green pepper, a little bit of black pepper. Still some of the kind of like a vanilla, like a light vanilla sweetness that's there. Yeah, definitely as I moved it around a little bit more of the vanilla kind of started to come out. So, all right. Well, cheers guys. Thanks for joining tonight. I appreciate you coming in. No, I'm not drinking. I've had Malort, Mike. I'm not drinking that. So, all right. All right, so my initial thought is very approachable. I guess I would say very like muted. There's a nice spice to it that's there. Again, some of that green apple is there. A little bit of like a citrus, more of like an orangey type of aspect to it as well. Spicy, a little bit of that black pepper that's there as well. Yeah, I would say this is very approachable. Not a super long finish. The one thing I do like about it is the spice factor that's there. I don't know if it's typical within the brand or whatever it may be, but it's got a nice spice to it. It does have that lingering green apple aspect to it that I do like in a lot of these. So, Run Rev Collins, how's it going, buddy? Thanks, Will. Appreciate that. My boy Dusty Dan, how's it going? If you haven't checked out Dan's channel, definitely do that. Dan's got a great palate as well. A lot of us, mostly enjoy a lot of the bourbons and ryes, things along those lines. But again, Dan's got a great channel, as does Matt from Whiskey Crusaders with Will and Sarah. They do a fantastic job too. So. Yes, Richie, right now I am. I'm waiting for the guy to start making them again from barrel raised. He moved recently, so. So I guess my My initial thought on that one would be, I guess, very approachable. The one thing I struggle with is the age factor. The difference between a 10-year Scotch and a 10-year bourbon for me is night and day. I think you get, again, I'll offend some people, but I still think bourbon for me has a little more complexity. Like I think with the malted barley, it just always seems to be a little bit more one-dimensional. There's a little bit more of that note. And again, maybe it's just my bias towards bourbon a little bit, but it's just one of those things where I struggle to pull out a lot of different flavors within that. So, all right, so let's set that one aside here. I'm probably gonna have to go get some more glasses by the time I'm all done with these. Okay, so is the Brazier in here? I think I saw him. There he is. I think he's maybe just getting home from work. So he said what he said before. So Brazier, how's it going, buddy? So either DJ, you let me know which one you think I should go with next, and I'll just kind of rattle off a few of these, and you guys let me know in the comments what you think. So the one actually I'm going to leave out is what DJ wanted me to drink last, which was the I think the Glenmorangie cast strength. I think that's what it was. Where is that? Yeah, the Glenmorangie cast strength. It's a Highland single malt Scotch as well, and that's coming in at almost 120. Or 59.8% ABV. So another kind of big boy in the Scotch world, I'd say. So, okay. So DJ says Glenfiddich 15. So what's everybody's thoughts on that? And I guess I'll rattle off. So he's got Glenfiddich 15 year. So what he also has in here is a Deanston 2008 single malt. He's got a Kirkland Speyside Scotch, which I think is the Costco thing, which I've heard some good things about. A Bunnahabhain 12-year-old Scotch, the whatever this is, Glengoyne cast strength, no idea what that is. Glen Scotia 15-year, Glendronach 12-year, and then the Glenfiddich 15. So yeah, all right. So let me see, DJ. Yeah, okay. So DJ, I'll leave the the Glengoyne cloud. All right, is that what that is? Yeah, okay, okay, gotcha. I'll leave that one for last. So I've got that one set aside. So then second up will be, all right, so everyone's saying, and again, I'm going to refer back to DJ. He put these things together. So you guys let me know if I should go with, or actually DJ, let me know which one you think I should go with. Yeah, so I think that is DJ. That is that's the Solera 15 that you sent. So this is going to be very interesting. All right, so DJ, put again in here what you want me. The chat went by way too fast, so I'm trying to figure out what it is that I should be drinking. So then you guys can agree or disagree, and I'll let you decide on whether he's right or wrong, because I have no idea. Mr. David Cronky, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you in here. It's been a lot of years since we've run into each other. So I typically just use water. I know some people actually use coffee, which is supposed to be a good palate resetter for things. Just black coffee, no other garbage or anything like that in it. So, all right, DJ, what do you want me to go with next? Because I am flying blind here. I have no idea which one you want me to. I would go with all right, DJ says Glenfiddich 15 Solera. Okay, that sounds good to me. I have no idea what in the hell that is, but let me find out what that is. Glenfiddich. So this is, all right, this is around an 80 proofer. So, or as they refer to everything in Scotch as the ABV. So this is 40% ABV. The only thing I did was I didn't smell anything. I did crack the lids on some of them, I think, just to allow a little bit of air to kind of get in there. And I've had them now for probably at least 3 weeks. So anyway, we'll kind of see. Oh, so okay. So for me, like my first like thought would be, this is starting to be a little bit more like earthy, maybe a little more. I don't know if this is a little bit of a lighted like peated Scotch or what, but I definitely get a little more of like an earthiness with still some of that green apple aspect that's there. And again, I don't know what Glenfiddich 15-year Solera. So I know the Solera process is to allow a lot of barrels and things to kind of mingle and pull out different flavors. So I do like that process, which some American whiskeys are starting to do a little bit more, but I think it's a little bit more of a Scotch or single malt type of thing. All right. So Richie says no peat on this. Maybe it's a little more of maybe it's a little bit of a smokiness or something. Then maybe it's not peat. It's a little more earthy. Definitely a little bit of that Band-Aid aspect to it that I get. Still, as I moved it around there, I got a little bit of this, like a candy sweetness that's there to it. So, yeah, it is a little bit sweeter. Maybe I'm starting to get a little less of that kind of like that smoke or that earthiness that's there. All right, let's give this one a try. So far the Glenmorangie, I've only had one, but so far I think that's very approachable. I'll just set that over here to the side. So yeah. All right. So, and I guess let me know everybody else's thought. Are you a Glenfiddich 15-year? And I don't know. I'm sure there's a bunch of different ones, but this one specifically is the Solera single malt. That's there. So. So DJ, maybe that's where I'm picking up a little bit of that sweetness. There's definitely more sweetness, I would say, on the palate than there was on the nose. It's actually fairly different. There's a little bit of that drying effect, which you'll get from like a sherry or a cognac finish type of whiskey. So there's that. Yeah, it's nice. It's completely different, I would say, than like, oh geez, I don't know, than obviously the first one, but this is, I would say, there's a little more complexity, less proof on this, but I'm guessing that Solera process probably has a lot to do with this one pulling out a lot of the different profiles of barrels as it passes through. So yeah, Richie. So I would say as far as fruit, yes, that was probably one of the things in my mind. It's a little bit of almost a tropical, like a tropical fruit type of note to it. Maybe even like a little bit of like a juicy fruit bubble gum, something along those lines. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Yeah, still drinks like a lower proof whiskey though. There's not, I wouldn't say a ton that's there. And again, I think that's something relatively typical within the Scotch world are lower proofs, outside of maybe some of the newer things where they're trying to, provide, more, higher proof type of whiskeys. So, which I think in general, a lot of people want nowadays, just because it, generally speaking, will come with a little more complexity that's there to it. So. Yeah, definitely some of that, the floral, the fruity, you can start to pick up a slight bit of that sherry characteristic to it that's there, which is probably where some of the sweetness is coming through. I'd say so far of the two, I like this more. I think there's a little more complexity. Again, it's a little lower proof, but I do like the complexity of this one a little bit more. So I definitely have to say that. The finish on this is much longer little bit of spice. I would say the first one actually might have had a little more spice to it. So this is the Glenfiddich. I do like this one actually. That's a 15 year. All right. So I do like that one actually quite a bit. So, and I'm going to come back to some of these, I think, as I kind of go through some of this stuff. I'll probably have to go get a few more glasses too. I wasn't sure. So, all right. So what am I tasting next, DJ? So I've got, you can let me know. So while you're letting me know, I'm going to see if there's anybody else. Peter White, how's it going, buddy? My favorite Canadian. Donald Rance, how's it going, sir? Appreciate you jumping in. So I know you, I know you're another Scotch guy, so you'll be probably all over this stuff. So, let's see. Getting your bourbon stewardship worth it? Yes. Yeah. So I would agree, Richie. So it is a little bit light, but pretty tasty. So, and it actually was fairly complex. I mean, I think we all understand would be if we were tasting a 15-year bourbon, I mean, it would be night and day compared to something like this. So, all right. So DJ says next is the Bunnahabhain 12. What are everybody else's thoughts on the Bunnahabhain 12? What are your experiences with that one? Let me see what else I've got here. So, all right. So this is the Bunnahabhain 12-year-old, and this is specifically says unpeated from Islay. So this is 46.3% ABV. So this should be interesting. And I think DJ was being pretty friendly or kind to me. He knows that I'm not a huge, peated or peat fan for the most part. So that's kind of one of the things that turned me off quite a bit. So, all right. So Jason says this is his jam. So let's see. So this is, I think he and I were talking a little bit before I went live, and I think this is the one he had mentioned. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the one that you kind of is like your daily Scotch sipper or one that you would go to on a daily basis. So, all right, let's see what everybody else is. All right, Jeffrey, you're going to pour some Scotch too. The Bunna 12 is great. Donald Bunna, usually lovely stuff. All right, so it seems pretty favorable that everybody is enjoying the Bunnahabhain 12, which I've actually heard some pretty good things about this. So this will be interesting. This was probably one of those ones I was just from hearing a lot of people mention before what a good kind of like Scotch would be for a bourbon drinker. Bunnahabhain always seems to come up. So, oh boy. So there's something that's there. I guess I would say it's like almost like a spicy chocolate that's there. And maybe that spice is some of that smoke. But yeah, it's definitely like almost like a jalapeno, like chocolatey type of nose on that. Still a little of that underlying kind of sweetness. There's something that's tangy, like I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a citrus. There's something that's like tangy that's there. I don't know if you guys or if this is making any sense, but like what some of you guys get. All right, so okay, you do get some chocolate as well. So yeah, it's just it's very interesting. Maybe a slight amount of like more of a white pepper, not quite as like pungent as a black pepper, a little more subtle. And again, still for me, with the malted barley is I definitely will still get that like green apple aspect that's there to it. So, all right. So Peter says, what do you have? Maybe, oh no. Okay. So DJ says the tangy equals at Islay. Okay. So, and I don't know what that is. So I don't know if that's maybe some of the, like, is Islay more of the like the salty, like the seawater type of, maybe something that it's kind of imparting within the whiskey itself. It's a nice nose. You can kind of already get a little bit of the complexity, but let's see how this one tastes. Cheers, guys. Thanks everybody for joining tonight. Boy, I would say very fruity, very like, there's that, again, that tanginess that's there to it. Really nice spice, bold spice that's there. What else? Yeah, it's yeah, there's definitely some of that chocolate. The spice lingers quite a bit on this. It's a nice long finish. Yeah, the one thing I would say with this, it's very like tangy and like almost like a salty, like a brininess that's there. And I don't know if that's typical for Isla stuff or not, but thanks, Bill. Appreciate that. If that's Bill. If it is, you guys have to go check out his Foregate stuff. Some of the best bourbon out there, hands down. Yeah, there's definitely a brininess that's there. And I don't know if that's typical for this or not. But what I would say is that it's very, from a complexity standpoint, it's not super like dominant on the like malted barley side of things. There's a nice spice, and again, some of that black pepper, a little bit of like a saltiness or something that's there, a tanginess. Still sweet, little floral. Yeah, I would say as this one kind of begins to develop a little bit, this becomes a little more, I would say, kind of on the little more complex. So, okay, so yeah, all right. So that's what Richie says. So the brine is in a lot of the Isla. So I don't know if that has to do with if it's an area where a lot of these distilleries are either close or on the ocean or whatever it may be, that that's picking up some of that briny or that saltiness that's there. But I definitely get some briny, salty aspect to it. So Moose 76, how's it going, buddy? Thanks for jumping in. Yep, that's Bill. That's me. All right. So yeah, this one I would say so far, it's hard. It's hard to necessarily like rank some of these things. I would say this one's very good. This is a different profile for me because of the, what was this? The Glenfiddich was a little bit more on that kind of like the sweet and maybe more like savory side of things, where I think this is a little bit more of the complex, the brininess. This I think would be a really good Scotch to have with like a barbecue, like maybe a, like some burnt ends or something. You guys let me know. I don't know if that's something that you think would be a good kind of pairing, but this seems like there's that saltiness that would go well with the sweet from like the barbecue and some of the char. So yeah, this would be one of those ones. I'll have to look for something like this. I think this would be really good for barbecue. Yeah, Hank Butts. I have no idea if this is something that's typically on the shelves or not. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if this one is, but I know when I go to the liquor store, I think I'm pretty sure I've seen Bunnahabhain stuff before, but I don't know exactly what it is. So yeah, this is very good. I like the profile. I would love to have some barbecue with this. I think it would go extremely well. So, but yeah, that's a nice one. I would say that's probably for me Second or third, I may go either the Glenfiddich and then probably the Glenmorangie, just because it has, I would say, a little less going on, but that's just me. So, all right, and 55 to 65 bucks, not too bad. I think that'd be a fair price for something like this. So, all right, let's go on to the all right, so DJ, what am I up to next? So let's see, I've got some Deanston, some Glen Scotia, some Glendronach. What are we going with? So here's what I've got left in the hopper. Deanston 2008 single malt, Kirkland Speyside Scotch, Glen Scotia 15-year. That is a single malt in American oak, and the Glendronach single malt Scotch 12-year. So what are your guys' thoughts on what I should go with next? All right, Moose 76 says Deanston. DJ, what do you think? How about the Kirkland 22-year? All right, I guess we can do that. Is there going to be a little bit of a battle between you and Moose? Who's going to win out on this one? Why? Here my next question would be, so Moose says Deanston, DJ, you say Kirkland. What are the two? What are the differences? What am I kind of getting myself into with some of these? So what do we have? Which cast strength? Andrew, how's it going, buddy? Thanks for jumping in. Let's see. What's Christopher saying here? Oh yeah, I'm glad there's no Ardbeg stuff. I've had that. That's a no-go. So Bill said he's got some great Deanston stuff. All right, so the Deanston's almost 120 proof. Holy cow. All right, so yeah. All right, so I'll go with the that sounds good. A Bordeaux finish. That sounds like a really good one. All right, I feel like I have to leave. DJ as the common denominator here in terms of which ones to go with, and I think DJ said to go with the. I don't know. Did he say Glen Scotia 15? I forget. They all have so many of the same damn names. Glen Scotia, Glendronach, Glengoyne. Why the hell has everything got the same name to it? I don't understand that, but whatever. I don't know. Maybe Glen is something. I don't know. Glen must be somewhere or something. I don't know. Hey, you guys didn't come here for like a Scotch expert show. I can tell you that. I'm here to like embarrass myself because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So Run Rev, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. That will go to use. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Thanks for joining. I'm not sure I've seen you in before, but thank you very much for joining tonight. I appreciate that. All right. So all right, DJ, what did you say? What should I go with? There's so many of these things. I wish somebody would say, okay, so here we go. All right. I think Bill's got a good excellent. Glen must be the Gaelic version of old America. Yeah. So it could be, if that's not accurate, then it may as well be. So, because yeah, there's all these things. They're all got Glen and stuff in them. So, all right, DJ, I'm going with the Kirkland 22 years. So this will be interesting because I think I've seen this at Costco quite a bit, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's not this one specifically, but you guys aren't going to get to see the color very well on these frosted Glencairns. They're nice, but hopefully once I get some more, I'll let everybody know. It's got a nice texture and stuff to it. Ooh, that's nice. I hate to say it, but I think Costco so far for me seems to have just on the nose. And I wish I would have had I've got another one here. I'll use this one next, but I really like the color. I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, that's coming through pretty good. That's really nice and dark. So, and this is 22 years. So, and again, these are coming out of used, used bourbon barrels, I believe. So somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. So thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. Glad you're diving in, buddy. So yeah, I've kind of gotten to the point now where, you just want to kind of try some different things. Not that I'm going away from the bourbons and the ryes and all of that, but this just gives you a little bit of an idea of other things that are going on out there that maybe I'm missing out on. And I'm glad. So, I mean, DJ, thanks for putting this together. I really appreciate it. But this has got a really, it's got a great color, and I'm not exactly sure if there's coloring added to this or what, but it seems awfully dark. I know it's 22 years old, but typically even some of the older scotches don't have a lot of color to them. And this has got a lot of color, very, very similar to what you're going to get from an older, maybe in that 10, 12, 15 year type of, bourbon. So Andrew Bolin, what do we have? Thank you so much. I appreciate the super chat. It says, want to become a patron. I enjoy your videos, but your page says per video, not monthly, which you can alter that. You can change that in the settings. So don't worry about that if you want. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much. But you should be able to change that either to a limit per month or whatever it is you want. So you should be able to change that. So it's what I did when I first set it up. I wasn't exactly sure what I was doing, and that's kind of how it's stayed. But if you want to go in there and change something, and by all means, if something gets goofed up, I can always correct it or whatever. But thank you so much for the support. I greatly appreciate it. So, and thank you for the super chat. All right. So what else do we have here? Glen means, okay. So Tim said Glen means valley in Scotland. So the Glen means, okay. So they're all valley bourbons or valley scotches. So that's interesting. There's the mash and drum champion right there. And if anybody hasn't seen what Matt's doing, he just won the regional portion of what they've got going on at Bardstown Bourbon Company. He kind of slayed that whole deal. Wasn't even close. So congrats, buddy. It's awesome to see you kind of doing some of that stuff. That's awesome. All right. So Bill wasn't going to drink tonight. We're going to twist your arm a little bit. So get your ass back down there. So what else do we have here? Thanks, Trev. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, sir. Yeah. And anybody, I mean, for us smaller channels like I have, I mean, we rely upon some of that stuff just for bottles and equipment and all of those things. So no pressure, but thanks for everybody who is becoming or is a Patreon. I greatly appreciate everyone's support. It does go a long way for all of us who kind of try to create, all the content and stuff that we do. So thank you so much. What else do we have here? All right, so let me get back to this. So again, this isn't the Bunnahabhain. What did I do here? The Bunnahabhain before. So yeah, now I'm on to the Kirkland Speyside Scotch. But yeah, I really, really love the color on this. Super nice and dark. And again, I don't know if I missed it or not, but is there any type of like coloring that's added to this that I'm maybe missing that's creating some of the color or I guess making it look a little older than it really is? It just seems like it's an awful lot of color to pull out of a used bourbon barrel, but I could be wrong. My wife knows I'm wrong all the time. So Jeffrey, so far for me, in terms of what I haven't tasted the Kirkland one yet, but all very different so far. So I would say just kind of a little recap. The Bunnahabhain was that tart, that brininess, that saltiness. The Glenfiddich 15, which is the one that went through the Solera, sweet, spicy. Really, really enjoyed that one. That was nice. And then the Glenmorangie was just kind of, there was a little bit of that slight like sweetness and everything that's there to it, but not as much going on. So I would say in terms of how I've tasted them, I've liked them more as I've kind of tasted through them so far, if that makes any sense. So yeah, this one's really nice as well. So yeah, I would say there's a nice spice that's there on this. And again, this is a little bit more, there's some depth that's there to this. You can really get something that's some of the caramels that are there in this one. A little bit of even like a butterscotch. This noses a little bit more kind of like a bourbon, actually, just from the complexity that's there. Yeah, there's definitely that caramel sweetness that's there. So all right, so DJ says after the Kirkland, do the Deanston 9, which I'll do. Okay. Deanston, is that it? Okay. All right, let's give this one a try. I really like the nose on this one so far. This is really nice. All right, so let's see. What does Richie say? Kirkland is sourced for the Kirkland Costco label. Does anybody have any idea like where this may be coming from, or what distillery this one may be coming from? It's a really nice nose. There's a little bit of that kind of chocolate sweetness. It's actually almost like there's a pastry aspect to it as well. So it's a really nice nose. What else we have? I'm just trying to read through some of this stuff to see if there's anything I miss. Hey, Neil, how's it going, buddy? I appreciate it. What do we have here? So DJ says the label on the Kirkland 22 says Alexander Murray. No idea. Unfortunately, I don't know what that is, but Jeff Perkins, how's it going, buddy? Appreciate it. Mark Reyes, thanks for jumping in. Legit Whiskey Reviews, another fellow Wisconsinite. How's it going, buddy? Hank Butts, thanks for the super chat. I greatly appreciate it. Says, cheers, I'm enjoying the show. Thank you very much. Appreciate you jumping in. Yeah, this is really nice. I got to get into the taste on this one. So, wow, this might have a little more proof. It actually feels like it does. Oh, actually only 92. Again, something that's very baker's chocolate like. There's some nuttiness that's here to it. A little more of like an earthy characteristic that's there to it. Definitely not as sweet. There's a little bit more of like a maybe it's like a little more like pungent or something. There's a little bit more of like a sourness that's there. Maybe that's the bitter chocolate portion coming out in it. Neil, I don't know if I'd go that far or not, but I do like some of them. I guess what I like about it is all of the different, I guess I'll call it like regions or areas of Scotland all have their different kind of profiles, which I suppose is a little bit of the same type of thing within bourbon, that they all have their own like kind of little, niches in terms of what is they're kind of known for in terms of their profiles. But this so far is very, very different from all of the, I would say like the complexity side of it, where you're getting some that are very sweet to some that are very like pungent and salty and briny, things like that. So I do like that aspect. This is probably just through my journey. The whiskey part of it is very intriguing to me, just because it lets me explore some different things. So, Sorry, what Jason say? Alexander Murray is an independent bottler that sources whiskey from different distilleries. Okay. So thanks, Donald. I appreciate it. Thanks for Jason. Thanks for sharing Donald's stuff. So yeah, this is very, very interesting. This is another one of those, I would say, is very easy to sip on. It's different from the standpoint of if you're not looking for something that's super like sweet, but still has a lot of really nice complexity and flavors. This has a lot to offer. DJ, does anybody have, or anyone in here, does anybody have any idea what maybe the price point on this would be, and maybe even some of the others that I've tasted, just to kind of get an idea of what it is I'm tasting to put with like a value on something. So, but yeah, so far I would say I do like the Kirkland Space Side, and I don't know if there's, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's some of that sherry that's in there that's giving off some of that. There's that little bit of like a, I mean, I don't know if I would have known it was necessarily sherry, but there's something like maybe that's where a little bit of that chocolate aspect is kind of coming from too. Oh, $80 at Costco. Okay, that's Canadian though. So we can knock off $25. So maybe this becomes a $55 bottle at Costco, which I would say is probably on par. I think this is a solid, $55 bottle. Yeah, I really like that. I would say I like this one maybe the most. I think as I go through these, I continue to like each one a little bit more. Oh no, $80 in US. Okay. All right. So we're getting up there a little bit in the price. I would say, I don't know. I mean, in today's like whiskey world, under $100 is like now not even a super big deal anymore. It's just gotten to the point where there's so many of those between $70 and $100 bottles that, it's just not that uncommon anymore. So, all right. So Mark is saying, did they discount the 22-year Kirkland? I don't know if that was maybe because I said 55 or 60, thinking that that Peter was talking about Canadian prices, but clearly not. So $80 is all right. So let me pull this up here from DJ. So the Kirkland 22, $80 at Costco. The others are all about 50 to 60, except the first. Oh, okay. So I can see the Glenmorangie being the least expensive, $33, which is probably a very average or lower end price for a Scotch, I would say probably. So, but yeah, I really, really like. Not a lot of spice or anything on this one. A little bit more of like a milk chocolatey type of aspect. Still a little bit of that earthiness that's there. Maybe some of the caramels on this one. Yeah, I really like this. This one for me seems to be so far. If I was going to, and again, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, if I was going to give something maybe to a Scotch drinker or to a bourbon drinker, I think this fits a little bit more of that profile, just maybe minus some of the sweetness. If this was a little sweeter, I would say it would be like the Scotch version, lesser proof of like an Elijah Craig barrel proof. Again, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to compare the two. I'm just saying in terms of what it could be if it was a little bit on the sweeter side, because there's still some of that like chocolate, maybe even a little bit of like a dark fruit aspect to it. So yeah, if you guys haven't checked out the Old Humble, or it's actually, somebody told me Old Humble, the H is not pronounced. So they're doing some pretty cool things down in Texas as well. So, all right. So Donald, what does Donald say? So it says it's rumored that Alexander Murray is using whiskey from Glen Grant in that one. So again, I don't know what that means necessarily, but whatever it is, I like the profile of this one. I would say if there was, again, just a touch more sweetness, it would be very, very bourbon-like. So take a quick sip here. Yeah, this one I think I could drink this thing, and this is, I think, not super high proof. Yeah, 92 proof. So very, very approachable on the proof side of things. And I guess let me know, like, would this be for you guys? Would this be one that you would necessarily recommend to a bourbon drinker? And if so, like, why or why not? Like, am I missing something that you guys either do or don't get on this one? So yeah, this is it's very chocolatey, dark fruit. The more I've talked a little bit with this one, I start to pull out a little bit more of like a raisin aspect on this one. So yeah, that's a very, I would say a very nice whiskey right there. So one that I'll probably, again, I don't know if I can find it. I'll look next time I'm at Costco and just see if that's there. At least now I've got a little bit of a frame of reference for what that one is. So, and again, at $80, I don't think that's a super crazy price for that at all, considering the profile. It's very drinkable, very approachable. It would be nice if it had maybe a little more proof, maybe a little more spice to it. Again, maybe a little sweetness, but again, overall, very, very nice. So not very super sophisticated. So that's probably why I like it. Not very sophisticated. So yeah, I don't know, Jason. Maybe that is, and maybe that there's something with the sherry influence that's there. What was the other one? Was that maybe the Glenfiddich? That was a nice one too. So, but yeah, I think the sherry imparts a really nice kind of profile on that. So I like what that has to do. So yeah, that's Matt says good. The H is pronounced in his household. So yeah. Everything is pronounced here too, so I hear everything. That's for sure. So, all right. So, DJ, what do we have next? So, I'm going. Let's see. I'm slowly working my way to the final one. But next, we've got the Glen Scotia 15, Glendronach 12, and the Deanston 8. I think you said Deanston was what I think you said. So. Yeah, and tonight I don't have any. I didn't letter anything A, B, C, D, so I can't be accused of liking the D. So, which I've not been accused of anyway. But let's see. So sherry bomb with the Glenfiddich 12, where the proof would be a Deanston brandy. Okay, I'll have to keep an eye out for some of these things. So I'm getting a pretty good education here tonight. So thanks again, DJ, for sending the samples. I appreciate it. So. And did I miss it? Did you say which one you wanted me to try next? I thought you said the Deanston. Oh yeah, okay. I think. Yeah, okay. I'll try I'll go with the Deanston now. So let's see what we've got. I can't tell the color. These are like blue bottles. So I'll probably. Oh, that smells very, very sweet. Now we're kind of back to a little bit of the light ones again. So let me throw that over here so you guys can see that. Or I'll put it here. So, all right, let's see what we've got now with the, oh yeah. So you definitely get the finishing aspect on this. So it's very, I know it says brandy, but it's very like, almost like a cognac. I mean, it's very, there's that sweetness that you get from a really nice cognac finished, like even bourbon. I'll be very surprised if this doesn't have some kind of drying aspect to it. Usually with a cognac finished whiskey, specifically bourbon, I always pick up this dryness that's there to it. Yeah, that's really nice. There's a lot of spice on this, a little more heat on this one. Maybe we're getting up in proof on this. So yeah, 56.4% ABV. So you can definitely get the, so we really jumped up quite a bit. So we've gone, this was 92. So all of them have been fairly consistent. Now we're getting up into some of the big boy categories on some of these things. So yeah, and I guess the one thing that's somewhat noticeable to me is I'm not getting that super dominant malted barley aspect. I think with some of these other ones I've been, kind of tasting through recently, you're just getting, more of the other kind of surrounding type of profiles that are there. So no, I know, Peter. So I know that the brandy and cognac, I know the cognac just comes from the cognac region in France, so, or from cognac. So, but yeah, and I'm familiar with brandy being in Wisconsin. I think in the United States, we consume the most brandy within the United States. So yeah, a lot of brandy in my my neck of the woods. So, oh man, that's really nice. There's this one. I'd say there's a lot of the sweetness, that spice that's there. You're definitely picking up that finish aspect. And again, I don't know without being told if you would always know it was like a cognac or a brandy type of a finish, but you definitely get that sweetness that's there on this one. So a little bit of pepper on this. Yeah, nice sweetness that's there. Yeah, really, really nice. What do we got? Yeah, Neil, I'm hitting my stride. All right. I'm running out of glasses. I've got one glass and 3 left, so I'm gonna have to go get some glasses. So, so DJ says, how do you like the balance in flavor, proof, and finish? So far the nose on this is really nice. I actually just got a little bit of like a maple syrup note on this, a little bit of a leathery aspect to it as well. This one so far for me, the Deanston, has probably the most complex nose. There's more of what I'd say like a balance that's there. So, and again, it's very consistent. I think the way you guys have kind of indicated or set things up, or specifically DJ, is very kind of spot on in terms of how these are being, tried, and the profiles that they all have to offer. There's a lot of complexity. There's a lot of richness to this. The dark, heavy fruits on this, really nice. Yeah, the Deanston is I keep saying each one, the next one I try is my favorite, and it's kind of been that way so far. Favorite is always a tough one. It's just what I like is that they're different for their own reasons, which is something I was hoping that this was going to do, to kind of open my eyes to some different things. And that's exactly what this has done. Yeah, this is very nice. This, you can tell, is much more like rich and complex or something to it, more proof that's there. So, all right, more importantly, let's check and see how this one tastes. Cheers, guys. Thanks everybody for joining tonight. Appreciate it. Very good. You can just tell, just like with any whiskey, you get a little more proof. I don't know like what their deal is with like any chill filtration or anything. Some really nice oils on this one, actually. Rich, complex, chocolatey, spicy, like a lot of caramel. There's some leather, some sweet tobacco that's there. I don't know, Richie, I don't know about burnt toast. there's also like a little bit of like a citrusy note that's there to it. Let's try this again. Burnt toast, hey? Yeah, so okay, so you can see the non-chill filter, the non-chill filtering with this one. You can kind of taste it. It's got a good mouthfeel. You can see the complexity. It shows very well on the glass as well. So yeah, very, very nice. It's a very rich, complex whiskey, one that I really enjoy. This would be, I would say, the last two that I've had have been very much along the lines of something that I really enjoy, that rich kind of complex type of aspect to it. Another fellow Canadian, Chris Beaton. How's it going, buddy? Thanks for jumping in. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is very nice. I can see why. Very like maple, like very maple, a lot of maple syrup and everything on this one as well. Yeah, not a lot of heavy, like malted barley that's there. And again, I would say this is probably my wheelhouse. So in terms of like the sweet, the spicy, the complexity that's there is very much what I look for in a really nice bourbon. And these are all really kind of showing off, for, what each one has to offer. And as I've gone through these and worked my way through, they've all been absolutely, I would say fantastic in their own right. They're all different. That's one thing with whiskey, bourbon, whatever it is. It can all be in its own classification, the same but different, which is one thing that drew me, to whiskey, was that it was always something different. When you tried, whatever it may be, they all had these slight differences, which I really appreciated. So, so let's see. So DJ says, ready for the closer. All right. Well, so I can do the closer. I mean, I know we're at an hour, so I know the junkies are going on here pretty soon, but it's been, and DJ, I would say you've done a absolutely like banging job putting this stuff together. I mean, it's a great flight. I think this would be a great flight for anybody to do if you were looking to get into whiskeys, to kind of go through a lot of these different expressions to see what it is that they have to offer. So, all right, we can do that. So I really like that. That was a lot of goodness in the glass right there. Deanston, now 2008. So I guess if DJ or somebody can let me know, what is the availability of something like that? Is that something common? Is that difficult to find? I'm not exactly sure kind of where that falls within the spectrum of prices and availability and all that. I know there can be a lot of scotches that can be, readily available versus ones that are, not very easy to find. So, so I think we're going to go with the final one. There's a couple that are here. There's a Glen Scotia 15, which I'll try on my own, and then a Glendronach 12, and I'll talk to DJ maybe about those two as well. So, but we'll finish up with the Glengoyne cast strength Highland single malt, and this is batch number 006, 59.8% ABV. So, what do we have here? So it was a limited release. Of course it is. So the one that I probably so far have liked the most, and again, it easily has gone in this order. I mean, it's weird how it's kind of worked out, but I would say in terms of how I've tasted them, from I don't want to say like the least one likely to drink, they're all different, but in terms of what I would look for in a whiskey is the complexity of things, which is something I really enjoy. So, okay. So I'll have to look for this Deanston one. Maybe it'll be lingering around. So this is the brandy cask finished one. I really, really enjoyed that. And maybe it's just something with the finishing aspect on some of these scotches that I'm really enjoying. Something I've not really ever, kind of gotten into, but I'm really, really enjoying some of these. So, all right, let's go ahead and we'll get into, it seems like Mr. Rance is in favor of this pour. So let's find out what we've got here. So again, the Glengoyne cast strength. I don't know if I'm even saying that right or not. Glengoyne cast strength Highland single malt Scotch. Ooh, boy. Another like kind of flavor bomb. Very, that's one thing. It's interesting. Like I just got something I would say I've never gotten before on something is I got like a cantaloupe, like a cantaloupe note on it, like a very sweet, like very ripe type of fruit. Still, again, some of that like nice spice that's there, some of those caramels and the vanillas. There's a nice, again, you can see the color on this, pretty decent color. Again, this is in a frosted glass too. So it's a pretty nice color on it. And again, if anyone's interested in the frosted glasses, I don't have them now, but hopefully we'll get them back again here very soon. So I'll do like kind of a big order and then I'll let everybody know. But I really like how they kind of turned out. So, but yeah, this is very, I would say like buttercream. There's a nice sweetness that's there to it. Nice spice that's there. Again, still a little bit of that chocolatey theme that's there. The dark fruits, maybe more of like a dark or deep raspberry, maybe even a little bit of a cherry, not super cherry dominant. A little bit of that kind of malted barley-ness comes out in this one a little bit. What do we got proof-wise? Yeah, so this is a nice 59.8% ABV. So another one. But on the nose, there's not a lot of like ethanol coming off on this one. Very nice. Maybe even a little bit of a fruity aspect to it. Floral, but chocolate, dark fruits. Again, very, very bourbon-esque. So DJ, great job on putting this kind of flight together of a fantastic grouping of scotches. Really nice nose. This is one of those ones, and I guess a little more black pepper, but again, a little more of that, like a little more sweetness on this, maybe a little more maple on this. All right. Cheers, guys. Thanks, everybody, for joining again tonight. I greatly appreciate it. So you can see where the proof comes in on this one. So thank God I'm used to drinking some higher proof stuff with some of the Elijah Craigs and things along those lines. But you can see why you'd want to finish up with this one. The complexity, the richness, the mouth coating that's there on this, the sweetness, the spice, that chocolate, that dark fruit aspect that's there. Very, very nice. This is batch 6. So again, I don't know the availability of any of these, but very, very good. Yeah, so DJ even says, so dates and raisins, you definitely get those dark, heavy, this is one of those things where I try to always say like a bourbon or something soaked. Like if you're drinking a good bourbon or a good scotch, like if the dark fruit was soaked in what it is you're drinking, you get that aspect to it. So again, very rich and complex. Nice spice that's there. A little bit of black pepper kind of lingers. Yeah, it's very nice. You can see why people would really enjoy this pour. So absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and I don't know if they're doing any of the like chill filtration of this. This one, I don't know. It's hard to tell on this glass, but it's really hard to tell. I can't tell if the oils are really there on this one or not, but it's not a great like glass from the standpoint of trying to like figure out or, if there's a lot of the oils. The one thing I would say with this is it still has a great like mouth feel. There's a really nice richness. Okay, non-chill filtered. So it's really nice. I mean, I'm really liking this. I would say my preference would be if I was choosing these like in a particular order. I really liked this one's good. Actually, as the finish develops a little bit on this, there's a little bit of that kind of like sweet or sour tanginess that's there on this one, and maybe even a little bit more oak on this than I've gotten on any of the others. So I don't know if this one is necessarily my favorite. It's very good. But I don't know if it'd be my favorite. The last two, the Kirkland, which was surprising, and this Deanston, actually these last three, the Bunnahabhain 12-year, the Kirkland Speyside, and the Deanston 2008 single malt brandy cask finish have really, I guess I would even say like wowed me. I mean, they're both all three of those are very good. They're all good in their own right. This one, let me see what I've got here. Yeah, it's Run Rev. This one is very good too. I would say again, if the Bunnahabhain 12-year and this Kirkland and the Deanston are somewhat available, those would be three for me that I would say I would probably seek out just because of the profile that they have. And maybe it has everything to do with the finishing aspect, because I think the Bunnahabhain wasn't a finished one, but the Kirkland and the Deanston are both finished, which I really enjoyed a lot on these. So, all fantastic in their own right, just a little bit different. So I'll have to go back through and check and see what the Glendronach 12-year and the Glen Scotia 15-year have to offer. So I don't know if anybody is jumping over to the junkies or if you guys want to stick around. I'm trying to decide if I want to. You know what? You guys have kind of stuck around for most of the night. Are you in for me trying the Glendronach 12-year and the Glen Scotia? Let me know. If you are, then I will. I'll dive into those as well. So what the hell? Yeah. So Mark, I was very surprised with the Kirkland. Like I think it's a very good Scotch. I mean, if it's a decent price, man, I'd definitely pull the trigger on that. So everyone's go for it. All right. So I think everyone's good to go. So, all right, I've got two more glasses. I don't have any more Glencairns by me, but I've got a couple of my favorite glasses, which are the Denver and Liley. It's a really, really nice glass. Yeah, the junkies, they could actually be, I don't know if they're going or not right now. I'm sure they probably are, but they're probably having internet problems trying to figure all that stuff out. So thanks, Donald. I appreciate you sticking around. So, all right, let me grab my Denver and Liley glasses. So these guys, I don't know if you guys have seen, but it's a badass glass. So, I mean, for me, it's my favorite drinking glass. I really, really enjoy it. It's got a big wide, you guys can see that probably, but big wide bottom, a little more of a, kind of that fluted aspect to it, similar to a Glencairn, but very, very good. So a very nice glass. So, so with the Final two, Glen Scotia 15, Glendronach 12-year. Let's see in the chat who wants to I guess nominate one of these two. Which one should I try next? So thanks, Run Rev. I appreciate you, buddy. Campbelltown Funk. What the hell is Campbelltown Funk? I don't know what that is. Jason, you're scaring me, bro. Oh man, now I'm really scared. Maybe I'll end this damn thing. I'm not. Go with the. You guys are using abbreviations and stuff on me. GD. Go with the GD. All right, guess that's Glendronach since the Glen Scotia is an S and not a D. So not that drunk or anything. I can still figure out D's and S's, so that's good. Campbelltown Funk. All right, you guys are making me a little. All right, I'm gonna allow them to open up a little bit. So first, this is gonna be the Glendronach, and this is gonna be the. Okay, hang on a second. What the hell one did you? Glendronach 12. Is that what I'm going with? Springbank. Moose, I don't have any Springbank. I don't think. I don't know. Okay, so finish with the Glen Scotia. Okay, so I'm gonna go with the Glendronach 12 right now. Then, so is that what I'm doing? All right, you guys are confusing the hell out of me. All right, like I got a lot of Glens. I got Glen Scotia, Glendronach. I mean, Jesus, I couldn't have finished with anything that's more similar for crying out loud. So, all right, I need to look for some guidance here. Good call. So you're liking the Glens. Yeah, I don't even know. Like I'm just by default, I'm finishing up with the Glens. So must be good. So, all right. So Richie says Glendronach. I'm waiting for the final verdicts here. So Moose, you're not helping me out. They're both Glens. Glendronach 12. Okay. Oh, wait. Go with the Glendronach and the frosted. I don't have one, Jason. All right. All I'm doing, I'm going to go with the I'm going with the Glendronach in my Denver and Liley. This is just what you guys get. Too damn bad. All right. So Tim Garrigus. Yes, I love the Glen Bourbon. That's good. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna go with the Glen Bourbon Distillery. That's a good one right there. Who doesn't want a good Glen Bourbon? You know, all the Glens. That'd be a good one. That'd be a good shirt. I vote for Glen Bourbon. All right. So this seems to be very. It kind of seems like so far I'm going kind of backwards a little bit on this. So I would say this isn't nearly as complex. So again, we're at 86 proof. So I would say this is probably maybe more in the lines of the Glenmorangie type of stuff, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, Peter, what does Peter say? Keep the Elijah Craig barrel proof shooter ready after the Glen Scotia 15. Okay. All right. I don't know. You got me scared now. You guys keep talking about this Campbelltown Funk or whatever. So this will be interesting. The only thing I ever associate funk with is the pot still funk. You get a little bit of that funkiness from a pot still, but yeah, this one, the Glendronach, I would say is very, very much in line or kind of on par with what the Glenmorangie is. So it's very kind of approachable, like subtle, all of that. So. All right, so the Glendronach 12 is probably the most sherry finish. So this is a sherry finish. Is that what Glendronach does? Do they just finish everything in sherry? This doesn't say it on it, but it I don't know. And maybe that's where that sweetness that's coming out. So oh, sherry bomb. So, and maybe because I'm not trying it in one of the Glencairns either, maybe it's not as concentrated, but it's very sweet. There's almost like a honey aspect to it as well. A little more of that malted barley, more of that green apple. So this is a little bit more of the Mike. a little bit of that Campbelltown Funk, a huge hit for Bruno Mars a few years ago. That's pretty good. That's really good. All right, let's give this one a try. It's a nice nose, very subtle so far. Very good. This is another thing that's nice with this glass is that it allows you to swirl it within that like kind of bottom portion. You can see kind of how it's like set up. It's a very nice glass. They're a little bit pricey. They're probably 40 or 50 bucks a glass, but for me, it's my favorite. So anytime I'm trying, well, two things. Anytime I'm trying something to kind of nose or taste that I want to pull out flavors for like reviews or whatever, I'm always using a Glencairn. But once I know what it tastes like, having it open up in a nice bigger glass like this allows more air to get to it, which I really, really like. So, Welsh Toro, how's it going, buddy? Thanks for jumping in. I appreciate it. All right, let's give this one a try. So just to make sure I'm correct, this Glendronach 12-year is a sherry finished Scotch, correct? Very good. This would be one of those scotches that I think would be great at another. It's already very good. It's already very good. I think at probably another, let's just say 15 proof, maybe even a little bit more. This would be absolutely fantastic. Harmless Scott down it. I don't know about that. Oh, so this is a PX and Oloroso. Okay, so interesting. So is this with it being a PX in Oloroso, is this Glendronach 12 more of a pricier Scotch than with the multiple finishing aspects, especially when you're getting into the PX and the Oloroso? So yeah, this is really nice. I could see why somebody who appreciates a really nice finished Scotch would really appreciate something like this. This is very like drinkable. This is very again 86 proof, lower proof, but a lot of flavor. So I mean, this is something $60. I would say that's really, really nice. I would really be interested, and I don't know if is there this expression at another maybe 20 proof higher or whatever, 20% ABV higher? I'd love this at a higher or a cast strength, I think would be finished in the PX and Oloroso. This would be like spot on. This would be a fantastic whiskey, I think. Yeah, that's the other thing, Mark. So, I wish the proof was a little bit higher on this one too. I think you'd start to pull out some of that like richness, that complexity, all of that. So really, really nice. I mean, I really like this just from the complexity side of it. And I think again, it's just from that finishing aspect. So nice. Yes, it's called cast strength Glendronach. I wasn't sure if there was actually one like that. I wasn't even sure, Peter, if there was that. So let's see. The DJ says there is a Glendronach cash or about 110 or 120 proof. Haven't had it. Okay. I think this again at that cast strength would be fantastic. So again, you're going to get all that richness, that boldness that's there. And again, you can see like where this like really wants to kind of shine. So yeah, it's very nice. Here's what I'd say about this one. This for me would be one of those everyday type of scotches that would just be very easy to sip on. The proof is very approachable. It's not going to blow you away from a proof standpoint, but what I like is the flavor profile of it makes up for that proof. And again, not every day. I mean, it's Tuesday night and you're not always looking for 120, 130 proof. This would be a really nice, just kind of sit down at the end of the day type of pour. So I really like that for exactly what it is. So, all right. So what do we got, Peter? Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that these could be pricey. So I think when you start getting into the cast strength stuff, that these could be very pricey, which seems to be very typical of kind of like, Scotch in general, is that you get into some of these higher proof or higher ABV expressions, and they start to really jump up, significantly in price. So now, Christopher, are you saying that this, I think I selected the wrong one. Still got the wrong one. Are you saying that this at 86 proof or 43% ABV is about $130 in PA, or is that the cast strength version of this? It is a really nice pour. So I'm really enjoying that. So I'm kind of interested in the old Glen Scotia 50, which I'm going to pour. Oh, this looks very light and looks like it could be like peaty and disgusting. But anyway, I don't know. I'll reserve my judgment on that one. So, you know what? That's not bad. I would say this Glendronach for $100 at whatever, at cast strength, I think that's a pretty damn good deal. I think that would be a really nice Scotch to have. So again, very approachable. The profiles are good. I mean, the finishing aspect kind of takes over a fair amount on this one, but that's okay. I mean, I think there's a lot of Scotches that have a lot of the sherry influence and stuff in it. So, all right, Christopher, the 18-year-old is 130 and it's fantastic. So I believe it. And I would say this at, another, 20 proof or, whatever, I think would probably be, right in that 100+ range for something like this. I could definitely see that. Yeah, very, very nice. This just makes a very nice, flavorful, daily sipping type of Scotch. One that I would really, really enjoy. I'm in the back of my mind, I'm trying to figure out, like, from a pairing standpoint. I think of two things pairing, cigars and obviously food. I would love these three right here. The Bunnahabhain, the Kirkland, and the Deanston, specifically the Kirkland and the Deanston, I think would be good cigar foods, or cigar foods would be really good cigar pairings. The others would have to be with the lower proof, maybe a little less going on, would probably have to go with as far as if you're pairing with a cigar, I'd say you're probably getting into more of the, like a Connecticut type of, like a very like mild type of cigar. So that one isn't overpowering the other. So, but again, I've always got a million things going on in my mind in terms of trying to pair things together. I really enjoy doing that. So, all right. So I guess let's finish her off. So I've got the Campbelltown Funk, you guys are calling it. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Kind of sitting down, talking with you guys, going through some of these things, figuring out exactly what some of this stuff was, why I enjoy it. I would say the last four I really enjoy. I think this one probably could have moved into that maybe between 1 and 2 sections. So this probably could have been 1, 2, or 3, somewhere around there. Probably 3, I would say, maybe after the Glenfiddich 15. But both really, really good. So, all right. So let's go with let's get this one out of the way here. Move this one over here. Looks like I got a little cleanup ahead of me, so we're good there. So, all right. So now we're going with the Glen Scotia 15 years single malt in American oak, Campbelltown Scotch. All right. Is this worthy of finishing her off? I'm wondering if I made a mistake in finishing it off. So, oh, man. So, it's actually there's like a sweetness that's there to it. Oh, boy. Is there a little bit of proof on this? No, not really. 92. Yeah, nice little sweetness that's there to it. I'm not getting a lot of that funkiness on the nose yet. Ben, it's like everyone's waiting for me to like taste this like funky whatever the hell this is going to be. So, and maybe it will. So, but I'd say nose wise, there is probably, you do get a little bit more of like that, the barley, that like kind of Band-Aid aspect to it. A little more spice that's there. And for whatever reason, with this one being only, 46% ABV, I'm getting a little bit more like heat or ethanol on this one. So, all right. So this is a $75 or $80 bottle. Okay. For a 15-year. All right. Well, let's see. So, and Glen Scotia, this must be by all the other Glens, I'm assuming. They're all probably lumped together. So this is one of the in the Glen region, I'll call it. So yeah, the Glen Scotia. Where the hell was that one? That was, oh man, I don't know. Oh no, that's the one I've got right now. I'm an idiot. Yeah, this is the only Glen Scotia. So Glen Scotia in general is a great value. So okay, so I guess, is this something that's very popular within the Scotch world? Is this one that you guys seek out from a profile standpoint? One that you, really enjoy? Ben, I don't think so, bud. I don't think we're going to be doing the my Scotch journey. I don't think anytime soon. So I still enjoy my bourbons and ryes and all of that, but this has been a very nice like eye opener to run through the gamut of all of these different things. So DJ, thanks again. I really appreciate you putting this together. So yeah, that's a good point. I'm just going to call everybody. If you got, thanks everybody for joining, all you Glens. I greatly appreciate all the Glens joining tonight. So I appreciate that. So, but yeah, you can see this starting to get to be a little more funkiness. There's a little bit of a sour tart aspect to it. A little more earthiness to this one. So, all right, let's finish her off strong. Let's actually, before I do that, let me take a little sip of Wada. That's for Jason. Little Wada. If you're looking for the spelling of that, it's Wadda. So that's how you spell that one. So, hey Eric, how's it going, buddy? Appreciate you joining. Eric's another big Scotch guy. I know he came to my my little get together at the maybe first part of August. So we were kind of shooting the shit a little bit, and he was having me try a million different things as well. So yeah, so we're wrapping her up with the Glen Scotia 15. So all right, cheers, guys. Thanks everybody for joining and sticking with me tonight. We're an hour and a half in, so I greatly appreciate everybody joining tonight and kind of just passing on your knowledge to me, because coming into this, I was blind. I had no idea what any of them were, even though there were names on them. Had no idea. So I appreciate everybody. So cheers. So for me, I would say this probably leans away from what it is that I enjoy. This is a little bit too much of that barley, a little bit too much of that barley, a little bit of that. Yeah, I can see why you guys are talking about it being kind of like funky. It's like almost there's like a fresh grass or I don't know what that is, but it's not sweet. Whatever the hell it is definitely something funky. So I don't know if again, I would say this is probably a little bit on that like sour or tart side of things. Moldy. It could be moldy. It's very earthy. There's a little bit of, and I'm hesitant to say like peat, but there's this like earthiness that's there to it. It's very like, like dirt kind of profile. So for me, this would be the opposite of what I enjoy with scotches. I enjoy much more of all of this. That's not one I would probably stick around with very, very long, just because it doesn't really fit my profile. I think I probably like some of the sweeter ones that are there, but it's just, yeah, for me, it's just, that's not my thing. This is as bad as it sounds. This is maybe too like scotchy for me. It's just more of like that, what I always think of as that traditional type of Scotch profile, which tonight I've learned is the wrong way to judge anything. I think it's just, this is a little bit more on the earthy side of things. It's not really sweet. There's more of the barley, the earthiness that's there to it. Maybe a slight like white pepper type of aspect. I'll give it a fair shake. I'll give it another try, but I definitely see where you're talking about some of that, like the funkiness that's there. And again, this is what I used to kind of get or was always like ingrained in my mind as to what it was that Scotch tasted like. And it was Peter White asphalt. Yeah, it's just like this dirtiness to it. There's just this musty aspect that I'm not into that. Just like I'm not into super like heavy oaked bourbons. I don't like what that does to bourbon, and I don't like necessarily what this profile is on a Scotch. So, Mike, you've got a lot of good analogies. So if I've never had a gas station sandwich, but if it was disgusting and like one that wasn't super like good and maybe was between like 6 and 10 days expired, this is what I would probably describe Glen Scotia as. So would it be one that's for me? No, I'd probably just be setting that guy aside. But I would say with everything else I've had here, I've really liked it. This gives you a good idea of what I don't like, but all these others I think have been absolutely fantastic in their own right. So really, really good stuff. So all right. So Eric says that note is only unique to Campbelltown. So, well, what is it? I guess what is it about Campbelltown that allows their Scotch to be like funky? Is that their thing? Is that their kind of their profile? Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily like peaty or smoky or anything. I'm not getting that. It's just like very, very earthy. There's just this earthiness that's there to it. So, and maybe that's just not my thing. I think lean towards the finished scotches, definitely for sure. So, all right. So rank my top 3. Let me do this real quick. So let me go back through real quick. So I don't think it would be that, only because I think I would have liked the Glendronach 12-year at cask strength. I think it's probably down to these four. So if I was going to put in order, so, all right, if you guys are kind of sticking with me, I like the Bunnahabhain. And then here, this one, the Kirkland, this one really, really surprised the heck out of me. Man, I wonder if I'm allergic to malted barley. It's like all of a sudden I got like plugged up a little bit. Yeah, this one, this Kirkland really surprised the heck out of me. Yeah, I'd say this one I would like probably even a little bit more at a higher proof too, but the Deanston, I think I really like this one. Very like maple nut, butter, nice spice, oak. That Deanston is really, really nice. That's the one that's finishing the brandy cask. I like the proof that's there on that one. Boy. All right, let me pay attention to the chat here a little bit while I think. So, yeah, Peter, I can see why people really like the Deanston so far with that one. That's very good. I think, Jason, I'm gonna have to rank 4 of them, I think. That's good too. I would say, oh man, the 4 I probably like the most is, if I ranked them 4 through 1, I think I'd probably go. Man, this is tough. Actually, tougher than I thought it was going to be. I think oh man, I think I might go the Bunnahabhain 4. Man, this is really tough. It actually might go in this kind of in this order. I think I might go Bunnahabhain 4, the Kirkland 3, the Glengoyne 2, and I think my favorite one so far has been the Deanston. I really like that Deanston. This is a really nice whiskey. So it's very, the more I move this thing around, it's crazy the amount of maple syrup I get on this. It just like a ton of it is coming out. So yeah, I would say for me, my winner tonight would be the Deanston 2008 single malt. So I think this will be a really good video for anybody who I guess is looking to try a bunch of different scotches and already enjoys a lot of, bourbons. Like, again, like the title kind of said, the Scotch for a bourbon lover. This was a really nice flight to kind of test that, excluding some of the smoky or peaty stuff. I don't think that's stuff that you can give anybody that's trying to figure out if they like scotches, because those are just so dominant. I mean, we already know, like, even in the bourbon world, when you get something that's super oaky, there's not a lot of people who like that super heavy oak and dryness that comes because it's dominant. Same thing with peat and smoke, all of that. They become very, very dominant, profile. And I think it takes away from a lot of the other things. But if I was choosing, I mean, for me, again, these four, I would say, are all kind of interchangeable depending on what it is that you are kind of in the mood for. You know, do you want something that's a little more subtle, spicier, sweeter, more chocolatey? You know, it's kind of all of those ranges, just like we all have, you know, every night. So, but very, very good scotches. So, and they're all good in their own right. So, all right. So what do we have going on in the chat? So that's interesting. So, you know, Run Rev. So that's, you know, the Scotch, or excuse me, the peat is one of those things where either it's something that you enjoy, and I know people who love, you know, that heavy peat in scotches, and that's just not for me. It's only because of on bourbons. I mean, I try to lean towards, again, I always try to find something with complexity. That's the important thing for me. But you know, the balance of something and not super like one dimensional. And my thought is that when people say they like, you know, peated scotches, it always seems like they like the peated scotch because of that one single dominant kind of trait or whatever it is. And that's not what I look for in a whiskey. So that's probably why I kind of steer away from the peated stuff. But again, hey, it's whiskey. It all brings us together. We're able to do these kind of fun things. So this is what I love about whiskey, Mark. So you're gonna so Irish whiskey. So I mean, not to go down a rabbit hole or anything, but I do like Irish whiskey. I've not had a lot of them, but the ones I have had, I've really enjoyed. So we'll kind of leave it at that. But maybe somewhere down the road I can do a little Irish whiskey flight or something. But yeah, so no, and Eric, I think, you know, I mean, I'm not a huge peated Scotch fan. The night we all got together here, the first part of August, I had something that a distillery sent to me a while back that was 100% peat. It was all liquid, you know, peat or whatever it was that they put together. And I mean, it was like somebody ground up dirt and put it in a bottle from a liquid, you know, standpoint. And it was just not my thing whatsoever. That was just, for me, it was disgusting. I don't know how anybody can drink that, but yeah, it was nasty. I don't know, Eric, if you tried that bottle or whatever. I think I might even have some left, but it was not good. Yeah, I know, Eric, you like that peatiness to things. But anyway, so first I have to say thank you very much to DJ Beacon for sending these samples. I think not only for me, but for a lot of people who are looking to get into scotches, this is a very approachable way to do it. And I would have no idea how to set up this type of flight. Now I have a little better idea of kind of like what to expect. I know maybe I like the Glens. I like some of the Glens. I know they're good dudes. The Glens are good dudes. So anytime I run into a Glen, he's probably going to be a good dude. So, but yeah, anyway, so that's kind of it. So we're way into this thing. We're almost an hour and 50 minutes in. That's it's gone by pretty quick. Thanks everybody for joining tonight. It's been a lot of fun and kind of eye-opening all at the same time, because you know, you get so kind of close-minded by drinking so many of the bourbons and scotches that you kind of shut out some of the other things that are still available. And these are definitely some very good ones. Yes, Run Rev. Yeah, Glen is a solid dude. So I do like Glen. So and that's Glen with 2 N's. So yeah, so I guess with that being said, so I've got some let's see, what is it? I think October 6th, I'm actually doing a live stream with Murphy Quint, who is, let me grab this here real quick for you guys. So he is the head or master distiller for Cedar Ridge Distillery. And this is what they're calling the Quintessential. It's a signature American single malt whiskey, which was, I was like kind of taken back. Again, this is part of the Solera system that they have. So this is very similar to, what was the other one that had the Solera? I think the Glenfiddich, right? Yeah, the Glenfiddich 15 was that Solera system, which is always an interesting process because it picks up all of these different flavors as it passes through these different barrels and all of that. So it's a very interesting process, and it was one that I really, really enjoyed. I'm working on trying to edit. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to do, and maybe coming off of this, maybe I'll have this one for tomorrow for everybody to watch. But I was pleasantly surprised by the Quintessential from Cedar Ridge Distillery. They did a really, really nice job with that one. So what did Ben say before? I think I missed it. Yeah, next to the Irish whiskey for bourbon drinkers. Well, there's all of these things, and that's a good, you make a good point, because there's so many people, including myself, that just have very limited experience in a lot of these other whiskeys, that there's another world out there for everybody to kind of explore. And that's for me always what whiskey has been about is, you get to kind of meet a lot of great people. You get to try a lot of different things. It promotes a lot of great conversation, whether you like it or you don't like it. I mean, everyone's got their own things that they like, and no one is ever wrong within, the whiskey world, whether it's something that they like or they don't like. I mean, there's a lot of people who are really adamant about telling you that you're wrong or whatever it may be. And, my answer is always, you're never wrong. You like what you like. And that's what it is. So Travis, what do you got here? So yeah, so that would be interesting, being able to try a whiskey straight from a Solera, batching. So again, you're at barrel strength. So that'd be a pretty incredible experience. I think anytime you get the opportunity to try something at barrel strength, it's pretty darn good. So yeah. So Travis, I don't know if you've tried this or not, but this Quintessential American single malt is actually really, really good. I know they took a little bit of flack because I think some of the malt is actually from Canada. So for the terminology, American single malt was a little bit kind of misleading, but it's a really nice one. So if anybody does see it out there for Scotch lovers, if you see that, I definitely would pick it up. I think price wise, it's right around that $65 price point. So again, it's kind of on par with the, medium type age or price wise for what a lot of the Scotches and American whiskeys and stuff are. So, all right. What's Peter say here? So my downfall is I like all whiskey from around the world, and there's nothing wrong with that, Peter. I mean, that's the best part. If you can have such an open mind of all of these fantastic whiskeys and stuff that are out there. The one thing I would say is, coming into this, now that it's opened my mind up from a standpoint of understanding a little bit more of the Scotch world, is the Japanese whiskeys. And again, that's always been something I've struggled with, because it reminds me a little bit too much of the Scotches that I don't really enjoy. It's just a heavy, dominant type of profile. So, but Yeah, so some of the Japanese whiskeys and stuff I've not been super crazy about, but again, hey, to each their own. If you like it, then you like it. So, let's see, Andrew. What does Andrew say? Tell that to the bourbon junkies. Oh, they always bust each other's for being wrong. You know, what I would say is, that's fine. I know they bust each other's balls and they're good buddies and all that, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, Dan or Sean, they're not going to tell each other which, what's, necessarily bad or good. If you like it, then that's what you like. I mean, there's no right or wrong to any of this. I mean, now there's a million people who will tell you you're right or wrong, but at the end of the day, if you don't like that shit, then you just don't drink it. That's the way it goes. So, let's see what else we have here. So Peter says try Cavalon and whatever that is, Amroot. I think the Amroot or Amrut or whatever, Amroot, I think that's an Indian whiskey or something, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, Travis, what did you say here? So it was about 57.5% straight from the Solera, but yeah, I was the first people to buy one quintessential bottle. Oh, okay, so cool. That's very cool. Well, hopefully you can join me on October 6th. I'll be doing a live stream with Murphy Quint. So I know his dad was instrumental within the Cedar Ridge distillery and all of that. So that will be very, very interesting. I think he'll be interested to hear your thoughts on that whole deal as well. Yeah, if you could get that at 115 proof versus this at 92 proof, yeah, you're in a whole other ball game, in terms of how that goes. So, DJ, what is I went back to drink more of the Bunnahabhain 12. Was a great closer and easy drinker. All right, well, if that's what you're going to do, then why not close her out? What I have to do is figure out, before I forget what in the hell it is I've got where, the Deanston. Where do I have? Oh, I don't know. Oh, this is probably the Deanston here. Yeah, the Deanston was really, that's the amount of maple syrup that's on that is crazy. Man, I don't know if anybody else gets that much maple syrup on that, but man, oh man, it's crazy. But all right, so let's go back to the Bunnahabhain 12 here, which I liked a lot. What else do we have? So Donald Rance, Nika from the Barrel is wonderful stuff. I had it one time, and again, it was funky for me. I wasn't exactly sure what to expect. It caught me a little bit off guard, and it probably became one of those things that I probably wasn't super crazy about, but maybe going back to it would be interesting. So, yeah, so in a few weeks, actually the middle part of October, I'll be heading down with the wife to visit with Jason. And yeah, it's probably going to be a lot of trouble. So I'm going to try to, well, I won't let the cat out of the bag, but yeah, it'll be an interesting, probably couple days. So I'll be there at his place for a couple days, and then we're going to try to visit Hocking Hills or something one of the days. But anyway, so that'll be interesting, and I'm sure we're going to consume a considerable amount of whiskey and probably smoke several cigars, of which I'm sure my wife will be upset about or whatever it may be, but it is what it is. So, yeah, I don't know. So Eric mentioned, so I don't know what it was about the Deanston, but I got a ton of maple syrup on that. That's at brandy cask finish, but yeah, this Bunnahabhain's really nice, sweet, spicy, fruity. Yeah, I would agree. Agree, DJ. The Bunnahabhain is really nice. I would say it's just one of those really just easy sipping type of scotches. I mean, I still probably would lean a little bit more towards the finished scotches, but I mean, hey, at the end of the day, they're all fantastic in their own right. It just kind of depends on what it is you're in the mood for. So, yeah. So I probably shouldn't forget about the Wada from Ben. We all know what it's like when you're trying to sample through a lot of whiskeys in a short period of time, how that goes. But I'm sure once I get there and I don't have anywhere to go, there won't be any, there probably won't be a lot of water intake. It'll be more, yeah, I mean, hey, at the end of the day, we're probably going to hammer quite a bit of bourbon and probably some rye for the most part. But let's see, what else we have? All right, DJ, I know nothing about Hakushu. No idea. Lost there. So, Travis, what's Travis say? So, if you visit Hocking Hills, that's where I'm originally from. My grandmother lives in Logan, right in the hills. You should definitely visit Old Man's Cave while you're there. So, I'll have to let my wife know. So, she's the one that's kind of been looking into a lot of the stuff in Hocking Hills. It looks like a very, very cool place to visit and a lot of hiking and all that, which would be very cool. So we're looking forward to visiting. So, yeah, Eric, it was the 12-year Bunnahabhain. So, which I think is good. I don't know if there's other. I'm guessing there probably is older expressions of that. It would be interesting to try some of those and maybe with a little higher proof, but again, all fantastic. What else we have? Yeah, we'll probably be hammering away a lot of high quality bourbon. That's for sure. Man, I'll tell you what, Eric, it's gonna be an interesting couple of days. That'll be for sure. So maybe we'll try to get a review of something, a little dual review. We'll do something. We'll do something kind of fun. I'm not sure if Jason's still in here or not right now, but we'll do something. We'll do something fun, whether it's part of a Wednesday thing or whatever. Oh yeah, he's there. I have an 18 in cast strength, Pedro Jimenez, Buna. Oh, that'll be an interesting one. So I could do a little Scotch journey thing while visiting the Mash and Drum. That would be an interesting thing. So, I mean, probably at the end of the day, we're probably going to be hammering a lot of bourbon and stuff though. So, but what else do we have? So 2 hours plus. So this is probably my longest live stream. So, but I've enjoyed this. So it's just been a lot of fun being able to kind of shoot the shit, talk a little bit about something that's different, a little bit more unique to me. So, all right, Andrew, what do you got for me? You should pick a blind for each other from his stock and see how well you do. This would be a blast to see. Yeah, that would be kind of we'll figure something out. We'll probably do some fun. We'll do some fun stuff. So I think we'll figure something out that'll be fun for everybody. Whether we do a little live together or whatever it is we do, I'm going to try to get out of here somewhat early on that Wednesday to get down there so we can kind of try to make a good time. So, but let's see. I'm pretty sure Jason has the ins on the Italian food portion of things, so we'll be good to go. So, what else do we have here? So, Peter, I have no idea what any of this stuff is. The new Aran or Aaron, I don't know what that is. 18 is off the scale. I have the Broderick Bay Special Huron as well. Whatever, I don't know. You guys have. I'm lost on some of this stuff. I can't even keep up with some of that stuff. So the Farm Boy Scott, don't get that. The Farm Boy, I don't know what that is, Eric. You lost me there. I don't know. Yes, and DJ, thanks again for putting all of this stuff together. It's been like a really nice conversation to have with you guys, and to go through some of these things and to hear what it is that people like and why is kind of why I do all of this. It's what keeps me going, and the conversations and just the experiences of trying all of these. And going back, the one thing, if I could have ever kind of changed something, it probably would have been not so specific to my bourbon journey, but more of my like whiskey journey, which kind of, encompasses a lot more, things than I probably would have done that. But, at the time, it was never like really on my radar to do all of this. It just kind of evolved for the most part, and I've had a great time. I've met some great people and some good friends and all of that. So that's the best part of it for me. So, yeah. So, I mean, Eric, I'm interested in doing all this stuff. It's just a matter of getting together. And once things are hopefully a little safer and all of that, we'll definitely be interested in doing some of that stuff. So, I appreciate everything that you've done for me as well. So, what do we have here? Oh man, I'd be more pumped about the flood than, I don't know if that says food, about the food than the bourbon. Yeah. Maybe I am. I'm so waiting for him to put together some nice pasta dishes. I know he's going to bust out some good stuff. So, which I don't expect him to make us food the whole entire time either. I'm not going there for free meals and everything, but we'll make that up to him. That's for sure. So, but I'm sure he can put together some pretty damn good Italian dishes. That's for sure. So, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where, being able to, that's the best part for me. I mean, rather than like to try to get all like sappy or whatever, but, for me, like watching and listening to people enjoy whiskey for whatever reason it is, that's the best part. And I mean, if you can have good friends or your wife or your husband or whatever it may be who enjoys it as much or as as you do, or if you can get somebody into it, that's probably one of the best parts of this, is watching somebody who never really experienced whiskey before kind of go down that rabbit hole of experiencing whiskey and understanding really why it is that you like what you like for whatever that particular reason is. And it's just a fun thing to do. So, let's see. What does Andrew say? So, DJ Beacon, if one would like to get a few samples, how would I go? I'll leave that up to you guys. Yeah, I don't know if, and I guess Donald, is this Iran or Iran? Is that an Indian whiskey? I think it is, but correct me if I'm wrong. So, like I told you, I started with rye, then bourbon, then my wife ordered a Scotch, and I yelled at her, but it was a great step forward to me. Yeah, so there you go. That's it in a nutshell, right there. Is that it's just one of those. It's one of those things that opens you up to things you may have no idea. It was the same thing with my wife. I mean, she's a Canadian and she's used to being around like rye, which is everything that they drink up there for the most part. Not everybody, but rye is a huge thing there. And it just, we started kind of trying some different things, and I didn't think she would really like it. And then all of a sudden there was something that was, it was actually the, from Limestone Branch, they have a sherry cask finished rye whiskey, and she really, really enjoyed that. And that was one of those things that just kind of took off with, other things that she enjoyed. And now we'll do a couple little blinds and all of that once in a while. And it's fun. And she's actually got a very good palate and a really good nose. She picked out a lot of stuff the other night when we did one. So it was kind of interesting to watch her to do it. So it was kind of like being a proud papa watching somebody evolve right in front of your face. So, Mark, I'm looking forward to tasting that pasta sauce. It better not be any damn ragu either, there, Calori. So get your shit together before I get there. Oh, okay, so Peter, it's pronounced Aaron. Okay, that's good. That's easier than Aran or whatever. Aaron is a Scotch. Okay, so all right, so is it not an, I'm assuming obviously it's not an Indian whiskey if it's considered a Scotch then, so interesting. Yeah, so, and again, if I know this is late, we're late into this whole thing, but if you guys haven't checked out Shelf Turds, it's, him and his wife do a really good job. They have a lot of fun doing this stuff, which is very important nowadays. And that's the reason you have to do this, is if you enjoy it and have fun with it. As far as reviews or having a YouTube channel, you've got to just look at it from that standpoint of having fun and appreciating the community for whatever it is. And that's the best part. So if you guys haven't subscribed to Shelf Turds, then definitely do it. I think you guys will really appreciate it. So, let's see. So what did he say? So completely, Scott, I got my wife into whiskey just 3 and 4 years ago. Pikesville Rye was the sip that got her over the hump. And I can see that. So, that's a funny thing, because for whatever reason, I've talked to other people, and like rye whiskeys have kind of seemed to be this like transition point, something that triggers people to liking something. I don't know what it is necessarily, and Pikesville's another good one. But with mine, I started out with, giving her something that was a finished, whiskey, which again, she really enjoyed, and, down the rabbit hole we went. So, oh, that's what it was. Okay. So Amrut or whatever it is Indians. Aaron is a Scotch. Okay. Gotcha. Peter, what do we have here? So actually what you would consider straight rye in the US is rare. In Canada, we call everything rye, even 100% corn. So that's kind of one of the things I did notice, is that my in-laws, everything that they have is rye. It doesn't matter what the hell it is. Like, it seems like even if they have like water, they just order rye, and then like water shows up or something. Like somehow the Canadians just know what the hell they all mean or something. So, but yeah, when they came here, they kept asking for rye, and I would give them actually like rye whiskey, and then sometimes they wouldn't like it. And I'm like, well, I mean, this is like what you wanted. You wanted rye whiskey, and it wasn't necessarily always what they wanted. And so I don't know. It was kind of interesting, but whatever. So yeah, so she did like the Balcones rye. So I remember her liking that. It's very, very interesting. That's for sure. And that's another thing. So, women's like palates and noses can be like fantastic. There's sometimes where mine will like, give a description of something, and it'll be so far off of like what I got. It was crazy. So, and I think that's kind of fun to like listen to them sometimes explain, or just, go over what it is that they're they're really enjoying. So, what else we have? So, yeah, you guys will really, I think you'll really enjoy it. I'm trying to get them to do a little live. Maybe I can even get my wife to jump on. If you guys jump on once, it'll just be fun. I know you guys, just from watching some of your stuff, you have fun and all that. And that's important to me. So, I think I'm way behind in the chat here. Oh, not too bad. Yeah, so I would agree with Run Rev. That Balcones rye is amazing. I've got some stuff that Eric actually left here from Balcones, which was quite a few things. I've got so much stuff I've got to try to get through with reviews. I've got more bottles than time, it seems like, most of the time. But again, it was, from what I remembered, it was very different. It was very, memorable was another one. So, and one that I just had recently that I hadn't had ever until maybe a few days ago was the Old Forester 1910, which, man, that stuff is good. And it was already really good off the neck pour. I'll be interested to see how that thing opens up a little bit. So, what else do we have here? Brian says, my neighbor who just dabbles in whiskey said he thought that the collaboration behind your shoulder was amazing. What are your thoughts on that one? Okay, so you talk about like the Bardstown, the collaboration series. They were both good. So those are all obviously long gone, but both very good. So this one was the white label was the one that was finished in Muscat still barrels, and this one was the straight bourbon that was finished in American brandy barrels. So I think all maybe 10 plus year aged bourbon. So those were both fantastic. So I've got one backup of each. So I've kind of held off on those, but both absolutely incredible whiskeys. So what do we got here? So yeah, and just everybody kind of hanging out tonight. And this is the best part of the whiskey community right here, is doing what we're doing. So thanks, Donald. Thanks for jumping in. I appreciate it, buddy. All right, my fellow Canadian. What's your thoughts on the Yellow Rose bourbon? Just landed. Yellow Rose. Oh, maybe the yellow label. Maybe just the standard yellow label, Four Roses, I'm guessing. It's just a nice everyday, type of, probably more of a cocktail bourbon, but whatever. There's a lot of bourbons that are, easily sippable, that's for sure. So, so Peter says, have a 1910 waiting for me across the border. COVID is killing my bourbon hunt. Yeah, Peter, when you get it, I think you'll really enjoy it. The complexity at a fairly lower proof. I think it was only 93 proof, but it drank way better, more complex than 93 proof than you would expect on a 93 proofer. So, let's see what else we have. Looks like everybody is subbing everybody, which is cool. Love to see that. Yeah. So I guess with that being said, I guess we can kind of wrap things up. And again, DJ, thank you so much for all of these samples. This was a ton of fun. I had a great time with everybody tonight. If anybody wants to or feels like they want to help support the channel, you can through my Patreon page. You can go over there. There's different levels of all of that. I've got some bourbon and some cigar stuff over there as well in terms of levels. So if anybody has any interest in supporting the channel, I greatly appreciate all of your support. If not, that's fine too. I love just kind of talking and shooting the shit with everybody and just the whiskey community itself. So thanks everybody for all of your support, watching the videos, not only mine, but everybody else's. We all appreciate everybody's support, and the more support you can give to other people that are, kind of doing the things that you like. It just kind of helps the community, and the more support we all get, the better things end up being. So, so with that being said, thanks everybody for joining tonight. I think next week I'm kind of working on something, so we'll see if I get something worked out from that standpoint as far as a live stream. But definitely the next one will be October 6th. I'm sure I'll probably do something next week as well with maybe another distillery or something. We'll see how that goes. And yes, DJ, sharing is caring. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for all of that. One other quick thing before I head out. Mark says, is a Joseph Magnus straight bourbon comparable with the flights you had tonight? I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're comparing, the Magnus and Scotches, I don't know as far as trying to compare the two. What I would say is the Magnus is great sourced MGP, usually has a little bit of age and everything to it. Nancy Fraley is kind of responsible for doing all the blending for the Joseph Magnus. So she does an incredible job. So a lot of the Magnus line is fantastic, which includes like the Murray Hill, all of that. Their cigar blend is fantastic if you can find it. But yeah, they do a really, really nice job. So anyway, all right. So I'll quit rambling on here. Everybody, thanks for joining tonight. I greatly appreciate everyone for hopping on. Had a great time with this. DJ, thank you again for all the samples. And hopefully we'll see you guys next weekend. I'll have another review tomorrow. Maybe I'll drop the Cedar Ridge tomorrow. I think this will be kind of a good play off of the Scotch stuff I did tonight. I think introducing an American single malt will be good. And if you guys see it, buy it. It's a really, really nice single malt. So yeah, again, everybody, thank you so much for joining tonight, and we'll hopefully see you next Tuesday night. So with that being said, I want to say again, thank you so much to everyone, and we'll see you next Tuesday. DJ, thank you again for the samples. Thanks everyone for joining. We'll see you next Tuesday. Cheers.